Happy Monday, guys. I am late today. Hi, Liz. Kelly, I am really late today. I'm glad to see that you did not miss it. I just had a hard time getting my act together today, so that's why it's a bit later. But we're here. Today I'm going to be doing the Oh Christmas Tree pattern, which is a free pattern that we have here on YouTube. For those of you guys who may be catching this after the live stream is done, please just be aware that this is going to be not a full step-by-step tutorial. It's just a make along, but I did put a link to our full step-by-step tutorial in the description. And for those of you guys here watching it live too, just so you know, that link is in the description. And any of the templates and the supply list and stuff that you're going to see me using today, you can get at that link below, which goes through step by step. Kennedy teaches that one and she does a great job. It's very, very detailed. So today, this is actually, guys, this is only my second time making this ornament. The first time being I started at the end of last week and then I finished one today. So we're going to be kind of working through this together because I'm not an expert at this pattern. Hey, Teresa. Kelly said blame it on it being a Monday for sure. And it was a busy Monday too. Hey, Phil. Phil says perfect timing. I'd much rather watch you than clean the house. I'm sorry if I'm keeping you from doing that chore, but yeah, this will be more fun. Hey, Nancy. Nancy said, hello, Stacy. I was wondering when you'd be here. Glad you're here. Thanks, Nancy. Hey, Robin. Oh, Robin said, I just did one side of the pattern. How'd you like it? Was it your first time doing it? Hey, Robin. Another Robin. Robin with an I. Teresa said, I'm keeping my eye out for you to be starting. Thanks, Teresa. Hopefully, eventually, I'll get on some regular schedule. Hey, Needleworker. Needleworker says, good afternoon, everyone. So, again, you guys, all of the templates, there's two templates here that I've got. I've got one to mark my hemi. A hemi is just our little word for a half round ball. This is the large size, by the way. So I've got a template for marking this into quarters, and then I've got a tree shaped printable template for actually making my tree design. And we also have a supply list for this, which you can get at the link below too. I've written some notes on mine here, but you can get this totally free at the link below. And you know what, you guys, for those of you who haven't seen this before, other than this little photo on the supply sheet, let me show you. I got some out today to show you guys what it is exactly that we're going to be making. This is a really cute one that Sarah came up with a couple of years ago. Let me see. I have no space. I did clean up my desk, but I still have no space. So Sarah came up with this a couple of years ago. A cute little simple way of just making a little fabric tree on the flat side of a hemi shape. And this one is Kennedy's from this year. This is our challenge ornament for this week, which is why I decided to do this today. And so hers, she did something a little extra. She decorated her tree with some little tinsel ribbon, which came out really cute. And Olivia did the same. Olivia and Kennedy's fabrics are so similar this year for the challenge, but they're a little different. And it's been fun to see how each of the patterns can look different, even though the fabrics are sort of the same. And Olivia did something interesting here. She kind of did like a little inside edge of her tree, which came out really, really cute. Almost like making it look like beveled almost. So that's a couple of examples for you. And I do have other examples as well that I'll show you throughout this time as we're doing this. But there's a few ways you can make this. You could fill the tree with fabric strips, you can fill it with sequins, or you can do ribbon, which we explain in the full tutorial. Robin with a Y said, first time, but just realized that I forgot to mark the hemi center. You can still do it though, it's not too late. It might be a little bit more difficult to do it with the fabric on the first side, but it's not impossible. Robin with an I said, just finishing up mine. I made 4. Just need to embellish. Fun pattern. That's awesome. So yeah, this is a fun pattern. It's a quick one. So this is a really good one for making for gifts or, you know, just being able to make a bunch of them. at the, you know, in a quick amount of time. Plus, it's a really good way to use up scraps, which I know I say about all of them, but this is a good one for using up your scraps. So first I'm just gonna make, make lines on my hemi so that I can divide it into quarters. And these are so like big that for our template, we only have half strips because you can't fit a whole strip and have it be long enough to wrap around the hemi. Robin with a Y said, I used material for the tree. That's what I'm going to be doing today too. Jack said, hi, where can I find the templates to mark the lines on the round balls and the half ball? Thank you. We have a playlist on, let me spread this out just a little bit. We have a playlist here on YouTube. Let me check really quick before I say that. Before I say something wrong, I'm pretty sure we have a playlist on the channel called Ball Marking. Let's see. Yep. Okay, so we have a playlist here on the channel with ball marking for quilted ornaments, and it has pretty much all of them. We have how to divide a ball into 6 sections, how to divide into 8, 5. We've got foam egg, and we've got the half round and hearts. So yeah, pretty much everything that you could possibly need is on that playlist. Here you go. Let me pop a link into the chat for you. Kelly said, I'm going to do pink and teal on mine, and I have pink fabric with a tree on it. I love pink and teal. One of my favorite color combinations. Oops. I put that on and forgot to actually mark it. I'm going to be doing a very non-Christmassy tree. I'm doing my strawberry fabrics, which is what I picked for my challenge this year. So very non-Christmassy, but I have some Christmas examples for you guys. This doesn't look right. Hemis are weird for me, you guys. I feel like something just doesn't look right here. So I think what I'm gonna do is, instead of just drawing the full line, I'm gonna put a little dash there. I'll go back and make the full line once I figure out if this is looking centered, because something doesn't look right. I must have done something wrong because I was so busy yapping. You know, actually, maybe I'll actually use the measurements to help me with this too. We have a video that shows how to do this, and it's actually not as hard as I'm making it, but I feel like I did something wrong. Okay, here we go. That first line was off. It just looked weird. So right here is about where my line should be sitting. I measured it instead of like just using it as a straight edge. So there's 3. Okay. This right here is my center, the real center. That first line, I was like, something's weird about that line. But I think we got it now. So I am using a purple pen here because I want you guys to be able to see my lines. I'm hoping that my white strawberry fabric, that the lines don't show through, or at least that there'll be enough folds in my fabric on the back so that it doesn't show through. But that's something to be cognizant of. If you've got really light fabric, when you draw your lines on your foam, you might want to like either use a light pencil or pen or something, or maybe even score your lines. Like, this is one of our tucking tools. You could just score the line instead of drawing it, because then you can't really see it. But anyway, okie dokie. So I've got that ready. And that's just so that I can know where to start, guys, on the back of the hemi. We're going to be doing the flutter fold on the back. And that's not the flutter fold. I'm looking for an example of the flutter fold. So the flutter fold is going to be like that. And I just want to know where to start my pieces. But for the front, we don't need to find the center because we're going to use a template. Did you guys all have a good weekend? It was a beautiful weather weekend here in Central Florida. I was sad to see the weekend end, but still beautiful weather though, like all day today. Hey Anna, happy Monday to you too. Glad that you made it today for my later live. Robin with a Y said, have you ever thought of making the template out of plexiglass and selling them? Well, we've done it for one template so far. We did it for the bow tie template. Since that one's more universal to lots and lots of different ornaments. But no, we haven't done it yet for any of these other ones. And that would be pretty nice to have. I agree. Let's see, do I have one of those templates right here? I thought I had one sitting near me, but I don't see it. Oh, it's hanging up. I tried to organize and be fancy. Sometimes things are harder to find after you clean it up. So we did it with our bow tie template, which you probably have seen. But yeah, it'd be cool to have some of our other ornament templates like that. Now, actually, that reminds me, and I haven't mentioned this on one of our lives yet, but we have the ball marking templates on the backs of our tape measures. So here's the tape measure with the 1/8 inch markings. And then we have our ball marking and foam marking templates on the back. So we've got 3 different ones. We've got this one with the balls. This has the 8-line ball, the 4-line ball, and the 6-line. And then this one has the disc and heart. And what other? It has a 5-line ball. And then the 3-line heart and the 12-line disc. What's the other one? I think the other one has the eggs on it. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, so those are convenient because obviously plexiglass wouldn't work for these because you need them to be flexible, but that's super helpful. Anna said, great weather in southern Missouri. Awesome. It was so beautiful here. I just wanted to be outside all weekend. Anna said, I have the bow tie template. Love it. So glad to hear that. Oh, Anna also said, I cut my paper templates out and laminate them and put it with the supply list. That's a great idea. Callie says, oh wow, I didn't know the ball markings were on the back. I will be ordering those for sure. Yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, I haven't really mentioned that, but yeah, it's like a little secret. So we have a set of 3, and then with the 3 of them, you get all the ball marking ones that we have so far. Plus these things, I mean, you just use them all the time. It's nice to have them kind of sitting around so you can grab one wherever you're sitting. You can see mine is beat up because I just am constantly pinning through it. But these are so great for measuring for ornaments because they end right at the 0 mark. Like there's no excess, hanging off the end like there is on a lot of other tape measures. So you can literally put it right up against wherever you need it and measure right from the 0 mark, which is super convenient. All right, let me get to this ornament. Okay, so I'm just laying this right on here. The only thing I'm trying to line it up with is I'm sort of trying to line the top and bottom up with my lines on the back, but that's not absolutely necessary. Let me center that a little better. Patty said, do you have a video using the bow tie template? Yes, we have a video that shows you how to use it. Yep. And guys, you don't have to buy this acrylic one like we have. We have a paper template that you can print out and you can actually stick it to cardboard, like maybe a thick cardstock, and cut it out. And you can use a cardstock as this if you don't want to buy this plastic one. And that is available with the video. The video is right here on the YouTube channel somewhere. Let me see. I know it's here somewhere. Oh, there it is. All right, I'm gonna stick the link for the bow tie template video in the chat. And on that same video right below, there is a link to where you can download the free template. Teresa said I have several sets. Thanks, Teresa. I know I have several sets too, just sitting here. Julie said I use packing tape to reinforce my templates. That's a good idea. Anna said those make a great upgrade from the printed paper ones. Mine fell apart after a while. Yeah, after you use those paper ones a bit, they will just start to just come undone. I mean, the nice thing is you can keep printing them. So it's a nice free option, nice and convenient. Alice said the ball markings on the tape measure are a fantastic idea. Do you sell gift cards in your shop? You know what, Alice? Not right now, we don't. But we get a lot of requests for that. I just have to figure out how to actually set that up, like the technical parts of it. So we've had a few, even more requests lately since we're coming up on the holiday season. So it's something I need to revisit for sure. Anna said, good idea, Julie, cheaper than laminate and most have packing tape. Yeah, and it's clear and it's strong, right? Hey, Carmen. You're very welcome, Patty. I'm just gonna draw my tree. So we're not done with the template yet. So I'm gonna set it right there so I don't lose it. So I'm doing a strawberry print to match my challenge ornaments. So it's not very Christmassy, guys, but it's still gonna be cute, I think. Patty said, nice to see a fellow lefty crafter. Yes, I'm a southpaw, as my great-grandfather used to say. Kennedy's a lefty too, and Kennedy does a lot of our video tutorials on the YouTube. Actually, we have a few lefties in the team. Tammy down in my shop is a lefty as well, so we have a lot of lefties here at the OG team. So I'm doing the fabric method for this. You could just use ribbon, which is nice and easy because you don't have to worry about folding. And in the main tutorial for this, Kennedy shows how to do that. And then also you could just fill it in with sequins. And in fact, I dug some of these out of my attic before I went live so that you guys could see some examples. This is one with sequins in the middle. So you would just fill in the tree with sequins. And how cute is that? So blingy, so sparkly. I just love it. I feel like what a fun pattern this is. And it goes pretty quick too when you're not talking too much. Oh, we have a few lefties. Okay. Carmen said, me too. I'm a southpaw. Teresa said, I'm a lefty as well. Anna said, very creative lefties all around. Kelly said, love the sequins. I know, it's so pretty. This is such a fun pattern, you guys. I hope you'll try it if you haven't tried it yet. Carmen said, beautiful, I love it. Julie said, I love the sequins. I've done sequins, ribbon, and fabric. So you've tried all the ways. The ribbon makes it a really good way to use up like maybe some leftover ribbon pieces and stuff like that. And you know, you could also do a mixture. I mean, it might sound weird, but like you could just cut this off somewhere. Like let's say I wanted to do like some stripes going down the tree. I could just cut this fabric right here and start with a new color or a new material or whatever. It's an easy one to customize and experiment with. We need to go a little further out, I think. Carmen said they say we think with the right side of our brain. I've heard that. Anna said, gotta go and make dinner for my senior parents. I look forward to the recap. Thanks, Stacy and everyone. Anna, I'm glad you were able to spend a couple minutes here. Have a good rest of your night. Excuse me. Patty said, how wide is the fabric? 1 inch? And the length you started with? Those are great questions. So yes, this fabric is 1 inch wide and I'm folding it in half top to bottom. So it's like my strip is about 1/2 of an inch. And the supply list shows the width, I noticed, but we don't have the length, and I guess that's because it can vary. But when I measured a piece out for my first one that I did, I used about 24 inches of ribbon, of fabric. And I have an extra long piece here because it was just what I happened to cut. But yeah, I think you're safe with about a 24-inch long strip. My last fold there wasn't the greatest. I think I might undo that and fix it because I think it's right on the edge where my line is. Now, doing it with the fabric makes it a little teeny bit trickier at the bottom of the tree because with the fabric, you have to start at the top and work your way down because you have a raw edge, and then do the trunk fabric next. When you use ribbon, you don't have raw edges because both edges are finished. So you actually start with the trunk. That way you can see the line, and then you can just go right on top of it with your ribbon, tree ribbon. If you watch the step-by-step video tutorial, that makes a lot more sense probably than what I'm making right now. Okay, I think that looks a little better. Nancy says you could use a pretty ribbon with a tinsel edge to help decorate the tree. That's a great idea. Alice said, at first I thought you were going to use scraps like the heart ornament. You know what, Alice? You could. You totally could. You could literally just make separate strips all the way down. And you could make them in a straight line going all the way down, or you can do this zigzaggy look like we've got here. So if you want to do that, absolutely go for it. You could absolutely do that with this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just peek up under here to see where my line is. My line is just right there, so I'm just going to use that as a marker point for a second. Does anybody else have a hard time holding on to these half round balls? I'm so used to holding on to the round ones that holding these is like the weirdest thing ever. Another one that's really weird for me is the heart shape. So, you know, the question about how long the ribbon strip is, obviously you need a much shorter strip for this bottom piece for the trunk. Just a few inches will do the trick down here. Julie said, great idea, Nancy, about using the pretty edged ribbon. Nancy said, I'm going to check the ribbon that I have to see if I can find that one that will work. And the nice thing about the ribbon too is you could play with widths. Like you don't have to have a really thin ribbon. It doesn't have to be a half of an inch like how I folded this. You could have a wider ribbon and only do a couple of folds back and forth. Really anything. Shirley said, missed it. Shirley, you didn't miss it if you're talking about the live. What did you miss? Patty said, LOL, and I cut with scissors right-handed as you do. Yes. I can't use lefty scissors. I pretty much do everything right-handed except for writing, and I can paint with both hands. Like I have to switch back and forth actually, but everything else I do right-handed. Robin with a Y said yes. Robin with an I said yes, and I have a bit of difficulty holding on to the hemis. Yeah, so you guys are with me. Okay, so there is our very wonky looking tree for the moment. Not for long though. This is where, I mean, that's like magical, right? Pop that right back on. So when you put this back on, you do want to spend a minute and just make sure it's centered and that you don't have any foam showing on the sides anywhere and that it's lined up really well. I'm going to put a couple of pins back in just for temporary. Carmen said, I'm 100% left-handed. And Patty said, me too, writing and eating. Now I'm just outlining my tree with marker pens at all of the corners, anywhere that there's a corner. And we're going to use this to help lay the outside pieces once we remove the template again. Now I'm just going to basically draw around the tree shape with my outside fabric, almost like recreating that template. This is the part I hope I can remember how to do. I was telling the girls in the shop today when I was gathering my stuff up to do this, I was like, there's some of these patterns that I want to do here on a live stream with you guys, but I wish we had an ebook for them, because we don't have ebooks for all of our freebies and stuff. And I'm like, I wish I had an ebook that I could have open next to me so I could scroll through it, because I can't remember all the steps all the time. Let's see, I think this one, I'm trying to remember how this goes. I think it was, oh, I got it. I folded a little too much in, and now my fabric will barely reach. I don't want to stretch it too much because I'll make my strawberries all wonky looking. But I'm not that worried about it because we have another piece that's going to come across right here. So that'll help to hold down that little edge over there that's not quite reaching. And this is a 2-inch square. You could possibly go a little bit bigger than 2 inches if you wanted to. And it might make it a little easier to stretch over. But I folded too much when I did that fold there. Robin with an I said, so far so good. Thanks, Robin. Julie said, that's going to be adorable. Thanks, Julie. I really like my challenge fabrics, although they're so non-Christmassy, but everyone else on the team did very Christmassy things, so I figured it was okay to go a little off the beaten path for my challenge this year. All right, there's side one of the trunk. Let's do the other side. Try to learn from my mistake and not fold quite as much. I also think I went a little too skinny on my trunk. I'm going to come out just a little bit. You guys could totally play with the shape of your tree, by the way. Like my tree is wide, and that's what our template is. But you could take our template and kind of change the shape of your tree a little bit if you want to make it a little bit skinnier, taller and skinnier maybe. Like actually, I'm looking at, here's one that we did, I think Kennedy did this one a while ago, or either Kennedy or Olivia did this one, and you can see the shape of the tree is a little bit different. She did a little skinnier on hers, so you can really make this different. And by the way, this is ribbon in here that she did, so that's where that sparkle's coming from. Robin said, you got it. Robin also said, that's going to be so cute. Thanks, Robin. Patty said, I love watching you work. It's very relaxing. Thanks, Patty. Carmen said, I'm always amazed at how these ornaments come together. Who designed this beauty? This was Sarah. Sarah did this one. So Sarah will every so often just pop out a surprise idea. It's awesome, and we have a couple more coming from her that we just haven't gotten out the door yet. But just this morning, she said something in Slack. She had this idea that is the cutest idea, and I was like, we have to do that right away. I don't want to say anything else about it and give it away or anything, but we want to do a YouTube video really, really fast for it because it's just the cutest idea. And Robin, yes, Robin said Sarah was the designer, I believe. Yep. Julie said, I kind of rotate my challenge fabrics, one year Christmas, next non-Christmas. Yeah, I think it's fun to do that, you know, just so you can, I don't know, keep it exciting. Kennedy said, hey, popping in. Hey, Kennedy. I believe Sarah designed this one. Yep. Julie and Carmen said, hi, Kennedy. S. Gagnon said, your company must be such a fun place to work. I hope it is. I would like to think that it is. I mean, we definitely work hard too. There's a lot going on. Sometimes it's crazy. And like right now, it's coming into crazy season. We're trying to get prepared for end of year fun things, and then also the beginning of the year for 2026. So it does get crazy, even a little stressful at times, but I do think that everyone enjoys it for the most part. I have a wrinkle in my fabric that I'm not excited about. I wish I would have realized that when I was cutting it. Kennedy said, I think it's pretty amazing and I feel lucky to be a part of it. Thanks, Kennedy. We're lucky to have you. The day that I found Kennedy was a good day indeed. Ugh, that wrinkle is gonna bother me. Let me see. You guys, that's gonna bother me so much, and I don't really, I'm like, should I get my iron out real quick? Because that's not gonna go away unless I pulled it really, really tight, and then I'm gonna have some really stretched out strawberries, and I don't think I want that. And I don't think there's any way I can fold this different and get rid of that wrinkle, because it's through the whole piece. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna grab my piece of fabric really quick, guys, and see if I can cut myself off another 2 squares to use here. So give me 1 second. Look what's so funny here. This was the strip I cut from, which I must have been rushing that I didn't notice, but that wrinkle was through the whole strip. So, yeah. I've got a couple more little scraps right here that I think I'm just gonna cut. It has a wrinkle too, but it's so far off to the side that I think I can get around it. Because there's no going back and replacing that piece after we finish the whole thing. So that would bother me forevermore. So, yeah. Carmen said, Kennedy is a sweetheart. Yes, she is. Julie said, Kennedy is a great teacher, calming voice. I agree. Patty said, iron. Yes, get the iron. Teresa said, I always have my little iron on and ready to press. Well, I now have learned the lesson the hard way. I need to have it on the ready. Carmen said, Kennedy is an amazing teacher. Patty said, I'm a quilter too, so I know how wrinkles get to me. Ugh, yeah, that would have just been forever and ever that would have been there. Oh, okay, thank you, Sue. Sue says, I agree with you, Julie. Kennedy does a great job. I love the video she made sharing her day. That was Kennedy, I hope you're still here and heard that. We love that video. We're trying to get the rest of the team to do a similar video so that you can meet everybody behind the scenes. pulled that a little too tight. My strawberries are getting all wonky. We're just gonna let that kind of sit a little more loosely. I don't want it to be so loose that it's just, you know, not laying flat, but I don't want to mess up my strawberries too much. Carmen said, I love your dog, Kennedy. I'm using a lot of pins. I really want this to lay flat. Kennedy said, I love him too. His nicknames are Mr. Baby and Meatball Head. Meatball Head, that's a new one. Just bent that pin. Okay, we're almost there with this tree. Abigail, hello? I'm on a live stream. Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. My daughter started knocking at the door, and I tried to ignore it for a second, but she was adamant. Carmen said, that's adorable. I call my girl baby too. Patty said, do you ever press your folds or do you hand fold to get a little bit of dimension? There's a few patterns that we will press the folds, especially some of the tinier folds to, well, I say that, but then I just immediately thought of one that is not tiny. The Prairie Point pinwheel is one that we definitely press because it helps to hold the shape. I would say that I don't iron whenever I can get away with not ironing. And I kind of like the flexibility of not having really hard edges in my folds just in case I need to change anything. But sometimes the ironing is necessary. Ellie said hi, Abigail. I'll tell her you said hi. She said, oh, sorry, and then ran away. They're not used to me being on a live this late either. Alice said I have an iron on a quick switch, so it is always at the ready. Also, I do all of pinning on an ironing mat, so it's always close by. That's a good idea. And the ironing mat helps to hold your pins and stuff too, I've noticed. Because like when I was doing the Prairie Point pinwheels, I stayed on the mat when I was doing it. And everything just stayed nice, didn't roll away. Like the beads and stuff. Carmen said, does Abigail still assemble the kit boxes? You know what? Not anymore. She has a job outside the house, so she's not doing too much here in the OG shop anymore. They helped me last year, though, at Christmas time because we just needed some extra help. So who knows? That might happen again this year. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So I can take out my marker pins. Hi, Kim. Alice said also holds the hemi in place. That's a good point. We need help with these hemis. They are wacky. All right, I'm just going to give this a little trim. That came out pretty cute, right? It's fun how it comes together. Okay, so for the back, you guys, for the back of a lot of these kinds of patterns, and I didn't mention this, but we call these artist collection patterns because it's kind of like you're drawing with fabric. You know, they're more free form, you know, not quite so like as quilty as some of the other ones that we have. But a lot of them are done on a hemi. A lot of them are done on a hemi or a cube or things like that. That leaves the back free for kind of playing with. You can do pretty much any pattern on the back that you want to. So in the tutorial that Kennedy did here on YouTube, she showed using the flutter fold to cover the back, which is a really great way to cover the back because it's real simple. It doesn't take away from the front. But you could do like the basic star back here. You can do whatever you want in the back. So I'm gonna just do the flutter fold for today since that's a nice easy one. Those of you guys who have been around for a few years, you may remember that Monica came up with this fold, which is, it was like a really new and unique fold when she came up with it. Very, very creative. An easy way to cover a lot of ground really quick. And since we drew the lines, we know exactly where the center is, so that's really helpful. Carmen and Teresa both said, super cute and so cute. Thanks, guys. Carmen said, I love the flutter fold. Yes, I remember that. Monica is a great designer. Monica is so creative. Really quick too, and I showed this before. I showed this idea before, but I want to show you again really quick since you just saw the tree come together. This is the one that Olivia did for her challenge, and you can see that like she did like an inner layer of those pieces, like where I did the strawberry pieces, and then did another layer of those outer pieces on top of that. So it looks complicated, but now that you saw me adding these 5 pieces, all you would do is just do it again if you wanted to, and you could create that layered effect like what she did here. So I just wanted to show you that really quick before we got too far away from the tree part. Just another way that you can play with this. Whoops. I plan to use 6 pieces on the back of this, and the lines can help you kind of determine if you're on the right track as you're working your way around. When you put your 3rd piece on, and when you're finished that 3rd piece, you should have just crossed the halfway point. So the lines make it easy to see where that halfway point is. There's a lot of flexibility with this fold, because if you're not really on track, you can really just, you don't necessarily have to start all over. You can just maybe widen out your like distances between your folds, or make them more narrow if you need to. Or you can just take them out and start over. That's the nice thing about these folded fabric ornaments. Nothing's permanent yet until we've cut stuff. So you can totally start over if you have to. And I will admit that I've had to start over with this fold a few times, because it's a little bit of eyeballing. So I've just crossed the line here with this last fold. So I think I'm doing pretty good with my spacing. Robin says the strawberries resemble polka dots. Yeah, they kind of do, don't they? I'm imagining, especially on camera. Yeah, I'm looking at my screen. They do look like polka dots. The strawberries are getting a little lost in this back of the hemi, but it's really cute on the front, I think, where you can see the whole strawberries. I think maybe what would have really looked cute back here as the back fabric would be this one with the little stripes. That probably would have been really cute back here. Robin says, I like the strawberries. Thanks, Robin. They are cute. Okay, I think I did okay with my spacing. I had to fit one more in here in this last section, but it also has to kind of reach over here to cover this part here. And then what I'm gonna do is just unpin my first couple of folds really carefully. I just wanna move these up out of the way a little bit. I'm trying to keep them in place, like folded. We'll pin it out of the way for a second. Oh, Kennedy said I gotta hop off. I hope everyone has a great evening. Kennedy, thanks for hanging out for a little bit. Robin said, have a good night, Kennedy. Carmen said, bye, Kennedy. If you have a hard time getting like a nice neat center, and it can be a thing sometimes, like especially with the last piece, don't forget that you can always stick an embellishment in the middle, like a bead cap or a sequin or something like that. That will help hide any messiness up there, because it can be a thing to get it looking really nice and neat. I might have to stretch these out a little bit. So there's my line. So I'm going to just stretch these last couple of folds a little bit further. Actually, let me do all of them a little further. Well, we couldn't get through a stream without the dogs barking in the background. Just barely reaching there, but I think we did it. Does any of you guys remember the old Disney 101 Dalmatians, like the original one, where the dogs are, it's like, what is it, the Midnight Howl or something like that? That's what's happening right now. So I'm pinned a little close. I just realized that all my pins are just a little too close to the flat side of my hemi. I'm gonna raise them up just a touch because I don't want my raw edges to be overlapping into the front. course, I did like every single one of them too close. Whoops. Robin said that's what I did. I just stretched the last few folds out and unpinned the first folds and stretched them out. Yeah, it's nice how flexible that fold is. It makes it easy to kind of go back and correct. Because really, I mean, it's not anything noticeable if you have a few folds that are a little wide and a few that are a little more narrow. I think I'm going to try my skinnier scissors, even though these poor guys, they have seen better days. They were never really meant for cutting fabric. They're like for, I want to say like embroidery thread or something. So they've really been put through it. But I just absolutely love these skinny blades. It makes it really easy for precision. Robin said, so pretty. Thanks, Robin. Pepper Spot. I think I'm reading that correctly. I have an eye doctor appointment this week, guys. I'm so excited because I can't see. I'm losing my vision quickly. Pepper Spot said, I have announcements turned on, but I never get an announcement for these live pinnings. So, of course, you're almost done. Oh, that's a bummer. We've been talking about that. I don't know what in the world goes on with YouTube. It's like you sign up for the notifications, and it seems like more people than not don't get the notification. Okie dokie. I've got a mess now. So last piece of fabric is the band. This one's a little bit wider than that strip that we used for the center pieces. This is about 1.5 inches. And putting a band on a hemi is always a little bit of a thing because it's not quite as simple as the round ball because it's not the same on both sides. You got flat over here and then the rounded edge over here. So it can be a little bit of a thing. And you have to kind of strike a balance between being able to cover everything, so wide enough to cover everything, but not so wide that it won't lay flat. So we're going to see. Sometimes I have to play with it a little bit. This width seems to be working okay. I folded it into thirds, and I'll measure what my final width was after I get back around here. Robin said, yep, so pretty and forgiving. Teresa said, looks like such a cute parasol. Thank you, Teresa. They have little pieces of fabric everywhere, little hairs. Okay, oh, let me measure that. So my final width after I folded that into thirds looks like it's about 5/8 of an inch. So that seemed to be the right width for this one. Like I said, it can be kind of a balancing act, but I'm happy with that. So I'm gonna stick a sequin on the back to hide that center part. That's cute. And I think I'm gonna do the same. Oh, you know what? I wanted to put a little, so I've got my little embellishments that I've been using on my other challenge ornaments that I've done so far. I want to put one of these little guys on top of the green sequin. It's a small thing, but I feel like it's just a little extra. There we go. I have charms too, but I don't know if the charms are going to work on this one as well. I could possibly dangle a little charm off the back of there, but I don't know. We'll do the same thing at the top. There we go, that's really cute. I'm gonna try to stick a few more of these, like going down the tree, just to add a little extra sparkle, I think. I'm thinking I kind of want to follow the zigzag just a little bit. Patty said, where do you get all of your finishing beads and embellishments? Kind of everywhere. We carry a lot of these in the OG shop, so they're things that we have purchased. It kind of started by like the excess things that we had from our kits we would sell off in the OG shop, but it has evolved into us purchasing specifically to sell in the shop. So we get a lot of our stuff wholesale. Like all of these items we've got in the shop. But you can play with so many different things. I mean, the jewelry sections, excuse me, and scrapbooking sections at the craft store. Actually, scrapbooking supplies is a really fantastic place to find cute embellishments for these. I think I might bring this one in a little bit. Patty said you use the same pins for the beads. Sometimes. In this case, I use the same exact ones that I've been using for pinning all along. But sometimes I'll use sequin pins depending on what it is that I'm pinning. If I need a really small head or something that I don't want to be so prominent, then I'll use like a smaller type of pin. And also sometimes we'll use like gold sequin pins if we're using gold embellishments and stuff. So it really depends. You can totally play around with that. Cute. I like that. I'm just going to add a little bow I don't really want to make too big of a bow. Since it's a hemi, they can be, since they're like lopsided when they're hanging like that, I don't want it to be too big of a bow, but we'll play with this and see what we can come up with. Let's see. I've been using 4 different ribbons in my challenge ornaments so far. I've got a couple of solid satins and then I've got a couple of sheer satins. So I think I'll stick with the same. Oh, guys, sorry, I just bumped my microphone. I hope that wasn't too loud. Tamara said my notifications aren't working. I missed most of it again. Oh, we were just talking about that, Tamara. I'm so sorry. I don't know what we can do about that other than I need to get on a set schedule. All right, I'm going to do a gift bow style with the 2 solid satins first. And I did start a little smaller than I usually do. I will usually start my bottom bow at like 7 inches, but this time I started at, what was it? Just a little over 6 inches. Teresa said Stacy has so many cute embellishments in the OG shop. Thanks, Teresa. Pepper Spot said pierced earrings are great. So many choices. And Patty said pierced earrings are a great idea. That is a great idea. I should have done one more loop on here. I'm going to do that. I'm going to add one more little bit of white, I think. Suzanne said, hey, better late than never. It seems to be the thing today, Suzanne. I'm sorry. No one got the notification. I was late today too, though. Okay, bow number 1, and then I've got this other sheer ribbon. And we'll go just a little smaller. Going just over 5 inches. And I'll double up on the pink. I knew I got that a little too big. Tamara said, I feel like I used to be much more tech savvy. The thing is, I don't think it's you with these notifications, because it seems like a lot of you guys are saying that you didn't get the notifications. It just seems to be hit or miss. Robin said, yeah, if you're looking for something specific, that's the OG supply the OG supply shop is great. Thanks, Robin. Yeah, everything is definitely specific for doing these ornaments, and a lot of the things that you see here in our tutorials are things that we have available there. That is just so cute. I can hardly stand it. I love it. Absolutely love it. I need to add a hanger to the top. And I did find my white string, guys. The string that I kept forgetting to dig out from wherever I had it. I unearthed it from the stack of mess that I had all over the place in my office. Sue said, what is the sheer pink ribbon that you're using? Love it. You know what? We tried to get this to put in the shop right after I'm, saying, hey, go to the shop. That's the one ribbon that we don't have in the shop. This one we got from Paper Mart, but I don't think they have it anymore. We got it a while ago as a sample. And then when we got these fabrics, we were like, this is the perfect ribbon for these fabrics. And we went to try to get more of it, and it doesn't seem to be in print anymore, which is really sad because it's perfect. Patty said, how do you attach the hanger? Oh, Teresa said, that is adorable. Thank you, Teresa. Needleworker said, didn't leave you, was listening as I was finishing up dinner. Another pretty one. Great job. Everyone have a great evening. See you hopefully tomorrow. Thanks, Needleworker. You know what? I made that way too long. So since Patty just said, how do you attach the hanger, I will start over and explain it. So I've cut myself about 10 inches of string. And I'm just going to tie the ends in a knot just to make a loop. However long you want your hanger, you can make your loop bigger or smaller. And then you'll just pin this to the top. But what I'm going to do is, I've been making a little strawberry with some beads. So I'm going to start with my little pink sequin. Oh, you know what, guys? I don't want to use a regular pin for this. I want to use this kind of pin. So it's a little bit longer and it's got the little green top. And now I'll stick my little sequin on there. And we've got these cute little beads. Little glass bead, but it almost looks like a little strawberry. Maybe not the right shape, but it's still cute. And I'm going to pin that right through the knot of my hanger. Maybe tighten that knot just a little bit once it's on there. And then this guy can go right down on top of the top bow. And that will help hide whatever last raw edge you have from the ribbon and then the pins. And there's the top. Pepper Spot said, I make my bows the same way, but I put all the bow layers on the same pin. Yeah, you could totally do that. You could do like a tiered bow like this. You can loop them all onto the same one, whatever you want. I only did 2 tiers on here, but sometimes we'll do 3 tiers. It just depends on kind of the look that you want. It'll be taller if you tier it. Tamara said, oh, wait a minute, I missed. Let me back up. Suzanne said, I just went into the bell for notifications and clicked them all on, so we shall see tomorrow. Okay, I hope that works. And guys, that's something that you can try if you're not getting notifications. You don't just subscribe, but then after you hit subscribe, it should turn to that subscribe button will turn into the little bell, and then you click the bell, and then that should turn on notifications for this channel. So you'll have to go into the channel. Well, you can see it right below here, probably right below this video. So maybe that'll help. I hope it does. Tamara said, have you thought about getting your center hole stars in other colors? I love the bronze, but would really like silver and gold. That's a good idea, Tamara. I can look into that for sure. That's a great idea. Sue said that's too bad. I know. I was super disappointed with the ribbon. that we couldn't get more of it. Robin with a Y said, it looks good. Thanks, Robin. Robin with an I said, I love it. You guys are, it's so funny. You're both in tandem when you're commenting. Robin with a Y, and then it's always followed up by Robin with an I. Carmen said, I love it too. Thanks, Carmen. Patty said, beautiful. Nancy said, that's so cute. Teresa said, remember to hit the like button. Yes, thank you, Teresa. Guys, if you enjoyed watching this, please do hit the like button. It helps out the channel. And also, that might also help let YouTube know that you want to receive notifications for these videos. So if you hit the like button, then YouTube will know that you like it. And I definitely appreciate it. Before I go, guys, let me show you a couple more examples. I showed a few of them before I started so that you would know what I was making. But I went up into the attic and dug out some of the other ones that we have here. Plus, I've got the challenge ornaments from most of the team. So, because this is our week 8 challenge. The only one, unfortunately, that I don't have from the challenge is I don't have one of Sherry's, because Sherry did 2 sets. She did a blue and black and brown set, which is just beautiful. And if actually the link to the blog post with all of our ornament pictures is below this video. So if you want to follow that and look at the pictures. But here's her other one, which is beautiful. This is one of my absolute favorite styles. I love the shabby, chic, you know, soft colors, florals, things like that. So this is just beautiful. And she did the scribble fold on the back. So she did the set, like the 4, instead of the Trinity knot, which is 3, she did 4 here. So that's how she did her back. And then I did already show you these in the beginning, but this is Kennedy's and Olivia's. And what's really cool about these, I already kind of explained what Olivia did here with her little outline, but also they both added a little ribbon streak of garland to add a little extra embellishment, which is really, really cute. And you can see Kennedy did a little bow tie at the top of hers. You can really have fun playing with your embellishments for these guys. And then here is one with ribbon. We were talking about how instead of fabric in the center, you could do it with ribbon. So it's really simple to do it with ribbon because you don't have to worry about folding as you do that scribble fold. So that's ribbon, plus it adds that sparkle. And then again, I did show this one before, but you can also fill in your tree with sequins, which makes it really sparkly and pretty. That's a little bit time consuming, but it's not too terribly bad. And it's really pretty. I think it's worth it. Speaking of the bronze stars, there's one right there. And I'll show you 2 more. This one's Darlene's from the challenge. And she did these really pretty blue and white floral ornaments. So another non-traditional Christmassy one idea for you. And then Tanya did Valentine's Day. And you can see here, this is a good example of that different shaped tree. So guys, feel free to take this template, cut it out and draw your own circle so that you have the right size. Or you could just trace a hemi. So you have a circle that's the right size for the face of the hemi. And you can draw your own tree shape in there and fill it in. So yeah, you can really play around and get creative with this pattern, guys. So I am surrounded by tree ornaments here. I hope though that inspired you guys, and I hope that you enjoyed this with me. I'll be back tomorrow. I should be here every day this week, except the only day I'm a little unsure about is Thursday. I have a couple of appointments on Thursday. It's going to be a little bit of a crazy day, but I'm going to try to still do it. It just might be on the later side like today was. Okie dokie, guys. Let me catch up on the comments. Patty, oh hey Patty. Patty made it. Patty said, very cute. Didn't get the notice either. I did get the last half though. Oh good, I'm glad you at least saw the last half. Teresa said, now I want to make one. Good, Teresa, that's what I was hoping for. Robin said, I know, right? Yes. Patty said, I managed to get some of that fabric, the shabby chic. Oh, good for you. Good for you. It's beautiful, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. Her whole set in these fabrics is stunning. Just absolutely stunning. Tamara said, I love the stars for this ornament in the center of the Western Star both. Yeah, they're perfect for that. The bronze stars are, but I do love the idea of silver or gold or even other colors would be awesome. Robin said the scribble folds are pretty as well. Yeah, they are. The scribble fold is another really great way to cover a lot of ground in a quick way. Another one that Monica came up with, actually. She came out with the flutter fold and the scribble fold. Patty said, thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Patty. Thanks for being here again. Beverly said, thanks, Stacy. Hey, Beverly, thank you. Teresa said, thanks so much. And I think you meant to say, everyone have a great evening. Oh, yep. You put it right afterwards. Everyone have a great evening. Tamara said, I did get my fabric cut while I was waiting for the notification. Thanks for doing these. You're so welcome. Thanks for being here. Patty said, thank you for taking the time to teach us. You guys, I love this. I'm just happy that you want to learn them. It's funny, when I first started doing all these ornaments and stuff, and I'm talking like 20 years ago, I was like, is there anyone else that really likes doing these as much as me? It's awesome to know that there is people that love to make these. Robin said, thank you and have a good night to everyone. Thanks, Robin. That was Robin with an I. All right, you guys. As usual, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them below. And also the link to the full step-by-step tutorial as well as the templates are in the description right below. Okie dokie, guys. So I'll see you tomorrow. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to be making tomorrow. I enjoyed this so much that who knows, maybe I'll make a Christmassy one. I'm not sure. Oh, the back of them. Yeah, let's do that really quick. Alice said I'd love to see the back of them all. So this is the flutter fold, just like what I did here. Here's another flutter fold. I hope I'm in the camera. I've got so many ornaments around me right now that... Here's another flutter fold. This one's cool because she did the 3 different colors. So it's the same thing that I did, but she just, did 2 flutter folds in one color, 2 in another, and 2 in another. A great way to use all 3 of the challenge fabrics. And guys, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about when I say challenge fabrics, follow that link below to the post about our week 8 of the challenge. And it kind of will tell you what we're doing with the challenge. It looks like almost everyone did the flutter fold except this one here with the scribble. I have 2 more behind me, which I didn't get out yet because I figured I had enough going on right here, but let me just check the backs of them really quick. Okay, we have another flutter fold here. And then this is really cute and country, isn't it? Really simple. And then here is, okay, this is neat. So this one, which I can't remember who made this one because I remember this one was when we first did the tutorial. Maybe Kennedy or Olivia. I'm not sure, guys. But look, we have a flutter fold, 2 of them, and then in between of that, a scribble fold with ribbon. That's different, right? So that's the same ribbon that she used in the center here. So that's really cool. I'm glad I went and looked at that because, yeah, that one's different than all the rest of them. We have a random pin sticking out over here too. I wonder what that's from. I'm like, do I pull it out? Is that going to be one of those things where the whole thing unravels if I pull out this one pin? No, we're safe. All right, guys. Literally, I'm surrounded by Christmas tree ornaments right here. Would love to see the back of them all. Okay, I read that. Love it as, love it as well. Teresa, I feel your pain. I feel your pain with the phone. Nancy said making these are addictive. Yes, they are. I'm sorry in advance to anybody who gets addicted. All right, guys, I will see you at some time tomorrow. I appreciate you being here with me. Check the links below if you want the templates and all that good stuff. And I hope you enjoy making this. Happy ornamenting, guys, and have an awesome night.